Hey guys, Torres here. Have you guys ever had an insatiable thirst or hunger for baklava? Well, if you are anything like my wife, then yes, all the time, anywhere, any place, anytime she sees it, she needs to buy it, she needs to put it in her mouth. It is midnight right now, and I stupidly committed to baking dessert for a dinner party tomorrow. The hostess is ordering Persian food because she is half Persian, because she can order whatever she wants. When she asked me to make dessert for her, I immediately thought baklava, because that is the only thing I really know about desserts from that region of the world. Oh, I do know kanafe, which is a cheese thing, doused in syrup. With that being said, I'm going to put that together. The beauty about baklava is that it is stupid simple, and you can make it a day before, the morning of a party or whatever, and you can just store it, and when it's ready, you just pop it in the oven, bake it till it's golden and delicious, and you douse it in syrup and serve it. And it'll look super bougie, and people will think, wow, how did you do this? When realistically, we know that it took you like 15 minutes, right? So, with that being said, let's get into it. Before we get started, I think I should note that baklava has three main components, right? You're gonna have your phyllo dough, which you can make yourself. The nut mixture that will be in the center of it, and depending on the culture, it'll be different ones. So for today, it'll be pistachio. And then the last component, which is gonna be the syrup you douse it in right as you take it out of the oven. We're going to start with the chopping of the nuts, and then I'm going to get some butter going, because that's what's gonna kind of like go in between the phyllo layers, and then also create that nice puff and crackle that you'll get later. Clarify that butter, chop up the nuts, then start layering. So hopefully I can make a ASMR-like video about doing that. But as it is now 12:30, I say let's get going.
So you're going to want to start with roughly 400 grams of untoasted, unsalted pistachios. In the US, you can probably get this at a Whole Foods, and elsewhere you can probably try your local Middle Eastern or Indian supermarket. And ladies and gentlemen, you're gonna wanna not do what I'm doing, which is chopping by hand. 100% use a food processor or a blender, because that's gonna shorten it down so much. And you're gonna wanna blend it to this consistency. Kind of like medium consistency, if that's a way to describe that. Next, you're going to clarify roughly 500 grams of butter, which basically just means melting the butter down and removing all the milk solids that separate from it. While you're clarifying the butter, you're going to want to make your syrup. So I learned this recipe while working at a bakery, and it's just 170 grams of honey with 120 grams of water and sugar. You're going to add the juice of an orange as well as its peels and bring that up to a boil. The one I learned at the bakery had some spices added in there, but I want this baklava to have a cleaner, more zesty flavor to it, instead of the warmth that spices bring with it. Bring that up to a boil until it's a nice consistency, kind of syrupy. Get ready for this part, because this is the most cumbersome part of making baklava. You're going to prepare a 13 by 9 dish. I don't know what that is in centimeters, so bear with me. All my pans are from the US. And you're going to put down some of that clarified butter on all edges and on the bottom. You're going to take the phyllo dough sheet and just place it on there. The first couple of sheets, I always like some overhang, because in the final product you'll have a really cool shroud of crispiness around the baklava that looks really cool and decorative. And you're going to start layering. The layers I tend to use are around 10, because I was trying to save some for my wife to make a different dish, but you can play around with it. Play around and see which layers work for you. When you get to that final layer, you're going to add some butter, and then you're going to add your pistachios, a nice layer over it. Place some of that clarified butter to add some lubrication for the next dough you use, and just recommence the layering part. Again, I've shortened it down, but This took me a good 20 minutes of work, so it can get cumbersome. Make sure to layer up the sides that you purposefully left up as you get along. As you get to the end, you're going to want to tuck in the ends on the four corners around the edges to make it look real pretty. And on that last layer, you're not going to add the butter, and you're just going to leave it as is. For the traditional Turkish cut, you're going to want to do some diamonds. Cut it diagonally as seen here. And what you'll end up with are these really pretty diamond baklavas. Make sure to really cut down to the end. I tried to do so, which meant that at the end when I went after baking it, I had to go down there with an extra knife and cut it. You're gonna bake it at around 400 Fahrenheit, 200 Celsius. And right as you take it out, you're going to pour the syrup you made all over it, making sure to get the top layer. And y'all, pro tip, let this sucker cool down before you actually try to remove it, or you're gonna get a real big mess with half the filling coming out. So you're gonna plate it, put some finely ground pistachios on top, and get ready to have the oohs and ahs of your guests.
Hey guys, so the baklava filming was 2 days ago now. I had a dinner party. It was I thought everybody really enjoyed the baklava, and I learned a really big important lesson doing all of this. So the original one that I made, the one for my wife, as you can see here, probably around this area, is I did 2 little layers in the baklava. I only did 7 versus the one in the party I did 10. The 1 to 7, it was delicious, of course. You know, you still had the butter, the syrup, all that stuff, but it just fell apart, had no structure to it. It would just crumble, and I think I messed up with the layering with the butter. Now with the one I did for the party, I did at least 10 layers in the bottom and above the pistachio filling, and I did not skimp on the butter, and it turned out super good. You could hold it with your hand, versus the one with my wife, you could not hold it with your hand. So big important lesson there is if you want to do this, you want at least 10, but you want to be shooting between 10 to 14 or 15. And as you can see in that video as well, I went off into a douchey explanation of how it tasted. The crunch, the butteriness. Man, it was just good. I really enjoyed it. So I hope you guys enjoyed my video. That's the last time I'm filming at night. It's the last time I'm doing this so late at night. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys are able to make baklavas in your own house. Enjoy.